Welcome back to John Cain Arena. You are watching Fox Netball, and welcome to all of our international viewers. We acknowledge the Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the lands we are meeting on here today. I'm Bianca Chatfield, and joining me in commentary today, I have Caitlin Thwaite sitting to my right in the commentary box. She is not only a former Diamond and a Vixen, she is also the specialist coach at the Melbourne Vixens, and across the court we also have Shani Norda. As you can see, it is dark as the players are about to be called out here on court for the Melbourne Vixens' first home game of the season. Let's take a look at the team cards, Caitlin, because Giants will be very, very happy to know that they've got a lot of their gun players back.
They do. They've got Joe Hutton in at shooter, Sophie Dwyer back from COVID. They have also got Jamie Lee Price and Amy Parmenter back as well. So some huge ins here for the Giants. And obviously coming off last week, April Brandley also, we saw her for the first time this season play a full 60 minutes after injury. We've also got for the Vixens, Kumwenda in at shooter. Kira Austin has been given the nod at goal attack. Watson, Maloney, Kate Eddy, Joe Weston and Emily Mannix.
And it is the first home game for the Melbourne Vixens. They are celebrating Heritage Round, two of their former clubs. So we were both a part of the Melbourne Phoenix and the Melbourne Kestrels, and there is a lot of past players in the crowd today, and it's so special to have everybody here. And you're going to hear the crowd because the Melbourne Vixens are going to be led out on court. Here she comes. Now we can win in a goal shooter. The former Giant herself, Kira Austin. Lizzie Watson there, looking fit this season. A crowd favourite, Kate Maloney. Superstar wing defence in Kate Eddy. And here is Joe Weston, who we got the privilege to speak to before the game, and Emily Mannix, who, with 5 intercepts for her game last week against the Swifts, we're expecting big things from her as the Giants will start us off for this game. Jamie Lee Price, the ball is in her hands, and we're away. Hay to Price, back to Brandley. Parmenter enters the game after having last week off.
Body construction wing.
Dwyer cuts it up the middle. We can see that really tight marking one-on-one defence from Joe Weston. It'll be interesting to see how Sophie Dwyer goes off COVID, dealing with a human backpack there with Joe Weston.
Isn't she what? As you see Weston on screen, all over Hutton, gets a hand to it. Dwyer for the first shot of the game, and she sinks that one. Maloney to Watson, straight up the middle to Kumwenda. Vixens trying to start with speed.
I love seeing that really dominant drive from Kumwenda there. Up the middle, it just breaks it open, doesn't it?
Listen to the crowd here at John Cain Arena. They like what they saw from Kira Austin. Hay to Price. Hutton's forced out of the circle. Just lobs it over for Dwyer for her second.
No issues there. She's putting any question marks to the side, isn't she?
Maloney, Joe Weston doing all the work on the centre pass. Double play from Watson to Kumwenda. Hay, oh, huge ball from Hay to Hutton. And precision passing.
A dodge on the baseline then from Hutton too to leave Mannix in her tracks.
Don't you hate that as a defender?
I wouldn't know that.
Austin across to Maloney. Kumwenda with the layup.
Just starting to bring this awesome crowd into it from the first whistle.
I tell you what, both teams are ready to put on a show for everyone today. Just a bit of friendly fire between Austin and Parmenter. Great mates. Just saying hello to each other. That's how you do it once the game started.
Yeah, not for these 60 minutes, I think, B.
Price. Quick shuffle from Harton.
And even with a moving target there, the post just getting a little wobble and no issues for Harton.
Austin with that important second phase play. We're recording that stat this season, something new this season in Super Netball.
And it is such a huge part of the game, isn't it, that second phase? So when we refer to second phase, it's not the first pass from the centre pass, it's actually what's happening next. And a lot of the time you're wanting to get really deep into that goal circle. So, yeah, a good one for us to be keeping track of this year. As Joe just warming up that super shot range, mighty early there.
She sure is. We talk about the super shot for all of our new viewers. In the last 5 minutes of every quarter, it's the power 5. You'll hear a siren, and that means on your screen there you see the white arc. And if the shooters are in the white arc, that's the super shot range. Everything is worth 2. Otherwise, if they're within the circle, just like Kira Austin there, it's 1 goal.
It's great to see her hitting the scoreboard early. Last week she was out there for a while and didn't put any shots up for quite a while. She was kind of playing more of that feeding role. So we see an awesome turnover here from the Vixens.
Western on fire early. She stormed through to steal that one off the Giants. Eddie in trouble, finds Maloney. Maloney back up there. Price just pushes her offside. Carry on.
And a tip in from April Branley too. She's getting her hands on the ball early.
Parmenter tries to do exactly what Western did only a couple of minutes beforehand. Watson finds Maloney. You'll hear that a lot today. Kumwenda over the top of Branley. Accuracy on the shot, every single shooter on court at 100% so far. Great way to start the game, Katie. It must give the shooters confidence.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, to get into a rhythm, to kind of find the pace of the game, to also be able to take that breath and know that your range is on, sets you up for a good game.
Harton continues on the run of 100%. The Vixens up by 1. Austin finds Maloney again. That's the second phase. Not deep enough from Caitlin's look on her face.
That connection from Lizzie and Kumwenda there, it's just second to none. The feed, they've played together for so many seasons now. One of the best wing attacks in the world, feeding Kumwenda there. So we see the Giants just reset it back to the line. A little bit of trouble finding their shooters, and one just goes over the back.
Let's get across to our sideline reporter, Shani Norda.
I am loving how clinical these teams are being. Some intense defence here from the Vixens with a second turnover there from Jo Weston, getting her hands on plenty of ball. But they're both just being so patient, which I'm really enjoying. Huge there from April Brownlee, but neither team giving an inch. You can tell how much this game means to both teams. But yeah, as we said earlier, with the goals so accurate at the moment, and just that precision passing is on point.
You are spot on, Shani Norda, as I can see you stand up. You want to get in the action. We have a HCF, a tactical timeout. The Giants have called it, and hopefully we're going to get a little insight into what Julie Fitzgerald is about to say to her players.
You tend to get split, so you're ending up with 2 on 1 and there's one all by themselves. So make sure you've got a little bit more awareness of who's on one. One of them is always completely free, okay?
So we need more width around the circle there. And I
think you're going to get some really easily. And then with that, we've got to make sure we do a little bit more work. You nearly had that last one. That was really close, right? Just remember when she comes out,
Head up on your knees. They're just putting it over when you just turn. So track them, you can go after that.
Make sure down here you've got eyes for everyone, that you don't end up with two people playing together.
Here we go. Guys, a bit more fight, but we've got to stay connected as one unit. Here we go. Big fight from this first whistle. Giants on three. 1, 2, 3, Giants. Let's go. Here we go.
Katie, you can feel the Giants. They're fired up, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's great to see the Giants use their timeouts really proactively, but without kind of letting the score blow out to any more than 3. They usually take their timeouts quite early. Oh, as we see April Brandley almost come up with that intercept.
Vixens back in possession of the ball. Oh, McDonald goes flying, can't get it. Kawenda is under the post. Let's get across to Shani Norda. You are listening into the Vixens huddle.
Really wants them using, Simone really wants the Vixens using the width of the court in attack. By using the width, it's going to spread those Giants defenders apart and make it easier for them to get that ball down the court. She also wants Jo Weston and Kate Eddy helping bring that ball down in attack, but overall, super happy.
And why wouldn't you be? The Vixens leading by 3. Kumwenda, confident start, not to be on that one, but does rip in that rebound. Just over 7 minutes to go in this first quarter.
As we see both of the coaches there on screen, talk about Heritage Round, and don't those two coaches have a fair amount of history and legacy in their states?
Giants through Dwyer. Just worth 1, but it looked brilliant. She's again warming up that hand. Watson finds Austin out of the circle. She wants to get in the circle. Oh, Parmenta comes up with it as they reset.
What's this in our ear at the moment?
Here we go through Maloney. Kumwenda to Austin. Quick pass.
And a little shooter there.
Price to Hay. Dwyer out of the circle. Weston lets her back in. Quick shuffle. We've got a minute to play before the power 5 kicks in. And great shot by Harton. And that's her 6th goal for the game. She's 100% shooting so far.
And a little turnover here. Amy Parmenta just picking that one up. Oh!
The Giants find it easily over the top through Bramley. Price to Dwyer. Crucial second phase. Still just back to Price. They don't make much distance. Dwyer, here we go. More practice for her. She misses that. Weston grabs the rebound. Kumwenda, no one in the circle for the Vixens.
Out of the circle for Kumwenda. She needs to find her way back in there.
McDonald trying to put that physical pressure on Kumwenda. And that distraction meant that Austin got the baseline drive, got the rebound, and you hear that siren in the background. Now the power 5 is in play. So just a reminder, the white arc, if a shooter takes a shot from there, they're in super shot range. And everything is worth 2 for the next 5 minutes. The Vixens cough up that one, but are lucky it's an offside call. So Vixens through Austin. Here we go. Suncorp super shot. First attempt by Kira Austin, but great rebound from Kawenda.
Putting her body on the line to keep that one in play.
The desperation on her face to pull that one in.
That was
Here we go. Let's
really
have a look
great.
at the Harvey Norman highlight as Kawenda juggles it in her hand and flicks it back. Parmenter finds Hay. Great ball from Parmenter. Price pulls it in.
So strong in the air. Just a little offside, and let's see how Jo Harton crafts this into the space that she wants. I did love seeing that last week, B. She just looks like she sets up the play so well. She moves the defenders, she walks, she sees where they go, and then she takes the space that they've left behind. So she's a huge playmaker for them down in their attack end.
Keep an eye out for more of that throughout this game, as the Vixens lead by 2. Just over 3 minutes to play in this first quarter. Hey, Maloney, she deflects that one, she knocks it out, and Watson picks it up. There has been a call, though, against Watson. Great hands by Harton. Back to Price. Who wants it? Harton does. Grabs it in. Her first Suncorp super shot for the game. The confidence in that shot. That's really going to get the Giants going. Kumwenda lets Austin have a go.
And just decides to go over the top for one. Takes it back to a 1-goal lead for the Vixens.
Price gets it back again after the centre pass. Harton, too easy for her at the top of the circle. The Vixens have just let her go. And Dwyer to take it. Just one. Doesn't matter, just one. She's happy with it. And the scores are even here at John Cain Arena. Oh, Branley goes flying. Maloney just resetting. Kumwenda just juggled that one, couldn't quite pull it in.
And that actually started from April Branley just having a crack at that ball out the front. It put a little bit of panic into the Vixens attack end, and the flow-on effect of that was a couple of fumbled balls. So great turnover for the Giants.
And that's what an experienced player like April Branley does. It's the mental pressure as Austin gets her hand on it. Coaches love when attackers start to defend. If we take a look at Amy's net points here, Caitlin, no surprises, Kate Maloney on 36 leading the way.
Yeah, and Weston's up there with a couple of turnovers as well. So obviously Maloney, she's got the ability to get those turnovers and tips in defence, but she's also hitting the scoreboard with her feeds, and we see another tip from her.
There is so much going on here. The crowd are loving it. Simone McInnes on screen looking a little concerned. Her side are out by 2 still. And we will be talking about the Nissan net points a lot. So it's a stats-based scoring system. You do well, you get more points. You make mistakes, you lose points. Harton across the circle. Hay just gains her balance. Resets, finds Harton again. In Suncorp super shot range.
And a rebound there from Mannix. Or I think just stepping out of court maybe.
Great pressure to get that ball from Mannix, but not to be. Giants with another go. Price, Harton. Here she goes again.
Scores a level with 20 seconds to play in the first quarter. Oh, Parmenter! Cain off her player for a tip.
Mannix, she gets her hand in there. You can do it, we can do it too. Austin, she's going to have a crack.
Are they aware of the time? Just snuck that last one in there.
What a huge first quarter we have seen here at John Cain Arena. Massive game so far. Both teams don't want to give an inch. 1 goal the difference with the Vixens leading by 1. Stay with us because we've got a lot more of this coming up after the break.
Welcome back. We're down here at the Giants camp where Julie Fitzgerald has said to her goalers, stay in front of those defenders. Make sure that you are doing the hard work so that they're not getting the turnovers. Defensively, they need to block out for those rebounds and control that ball through the middle because every intercept matters. Back to you, B.
Thanks, Shani. It's so great to have you down there. That's our Origin Energy team huddles. Melbourne Vixens, what did you make of what they said?
Well, Simone and Emily Mannix were actually having a good discussion around wanting to be off the body of Joe Harton. So being off the body as a defender, it means that the space is kind of a little bit confused. So you're not wanting to give those feeders that clear space to be able to put the ball into. But then they were saying, well, actually, you need to get back up and defend her when she's going to get the ball. So let's see if Mannix down there makes any adjustments.
So you've got to give them a little bit of room, but not too much room.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're always on them when they leave the circle.
It's a fine line, isn't it?
Take a look at my favourite camera angle that we have is this aerial shot. It shows you so much about what's going on. And right there, Jamie Lee Price has the ball in her hands. The Giants to get us underway in this second quarter. Hay finds Dwyer for that all-important second phase. Price, back to Dwyer. Giants struggling to get it forward. Harton directing play, telling Price exactly where to go. And a contact call against Mannix. Dwyer happy to take this one.
Nice and patient build-up, just waiting for something to open.
Watson all on her own, out for that centre pass. Kira Austin getting all the attention from April Brownlee. You can see in the background here, Brownlee has her arms over at 3 feet. Not giving her an inch. Probably needs to be a little bit further back though.
A couple more inches needed, said the umpire. Oh!
What brilliant hands by Brownlee to come through. They weren't expecting her then.
Coming back from being out of play, sometimes you can sneak past being out of their vision, can't you?
Price steaming down the court.
Straight down that middle channel, and then they just open it up with a little triangle.
They swing it across. Price pushing her way in there. Harton. Easy pass to Harton. Oh, not an easy shot though as Weston comes up with the rebound.
I think Jamie Lee was trying to point to what happened there.
Hey umpire, look at this. Mannix finds Eddie. Weston to Watson. Austin up the middle. Maloney.
And the Vixens at the moment just kind of got one lead. It's a little bit obvious for the defenders where the ball's going to go.
Struggling, yeah. You're right, there's not another option, is there? There's a sea of orange filling in the gaps.
Yeah, and that's obviously, you know, the defenders know where the ball's going to go, so they know which ball to have a crack at. When there's multiple options coming, the defenders they can't necessarily pick and choose.
Austin for her 6th of the game. Hey, on her own for the centre pass. Kate Eddy is drifting back into that space. That's obviously part of the structure they want to play.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, especially if a shooter's coming out of the circle, sometimes it's a wing defence who drifts back into that space to kind of cover that ball.
Mannix, another deflection to add to her stats. Dwyer, rising star last year, Sophie Dwyer. She takes this shot, an easy one for her. Vixens get underway through their captain. Kumwenda out of the circle. Easy pass across. Austin cops it in the head. Wasn't ready for that one.
Again, that kind of second phase block up from the Vixens in terms of their defence there. I don't know whether they're trying to promote Maddie Hay to come over the line, but she's kind of leading their centre pass receive stat at the moment. Might be something that they're trying to set up.
Just at the front of you can scream, they've just gone out of it. But the two centres, Jamie Lee Price for Giants, Kate Maloney for the Vixens. There is a lot of argy-bargy, as we see Kate Eddy and Maddie Hay as well in our Harvey Norman highlights. It's a great matchup. It's a physical matchup. They're both quite physical players. McDonald gets a hand in there. Parmenter Weston just waiting on the transverse line to pick up the scraps. Simone McInnes, I always remember she's saying to me as a goal defender, you've got to stand in front of your player on that transverse line. You've got to be ready for the ball to come flying out.
And I think those things, it's a mentality. It's not necessarily a skill. Just actually having the attention span to do those 1%ers, to be in front of your player on the line. Yes, that's one thing that Simone absolutely harps on all the time.
As you can see, the Vixens shooting stats in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. As Weston gets her hand in there, pulls it in. But the umpire says there was a contact first. Price to Dwyer. Baseline drive for Dwyer. That's one of her favourite moves. You'll see that a lot today. Scores are even here at John Cain Arena. In our first of 4 games on Fox Netball, Austin to Kumwenda. Nobody there. Kumwenda all on her own.
And that happened through the Kate Maloney, who was driving and attacking that circle. It looked to Tilly McDonald like she was going to get the ball, so she came out, but it left Kumwenda at home by herself under the post.
Dwyer to Harton, lobs it over the top. Harton had 2 hands on it. For all of our young viewers at home, coaches will always say 2 hands on the ball.
2 hands for beginners, B.
2 hands, and if you've got 2 hands on it, generally the umpire's calls will go your way.
And also 2 hands for the elite.
For everybody. Let's cross down to Shani Norda. Are you enjoying this one, Shans?
I am loving this. I'm loving the argy-bargy. Just keep your eye on Price and Maloney in the back of play, because there's a little bit of push and shove there, which, as you know, team, I don't mind. But, you know, it's really hard playing against Kumwenda and Austin when they have 2 completely different lines to the ball. And when we talk about the art of the intercept, you know, they are doing such a good job of teasing that ball to that wing. But the key is, as a defender, for all you watching out there, you don't leave until that ball is thrown. And what a great pick up there from Kate Eddy.
Right, Shans, I want to ask you, we know you love the argy-bargy, but how hard is it to be physical but then back off when you need to?
Yeah, look, you don't want to get caught up in it. You want to be physical, you want to own your space, but if you're too busy elbowing your player and not worrying about where you're running, I tried to get my shooters caught up in that so they didn't think about their game. So it's all well and good to be tough, but you want to be smart, and it needs to work for you, not against you.
We'll just see Kira Austin go down, but she's right, she's back, and a great shot from her. That's her 9th of the game.
And I'm loving seeing the Vixen shooters. They're sharing that shooting load at the moment. So the majority of the time you would see Kumwenda kind of putting up, 90% of the shots for the Vixens, but they're definitely sharing that shooting load today, and I think it's working for them.
Harton, easy one for her. Kate Eddy's really had an impact on this game in this second quarter especially. Last week she had a quiet one, but she's back and you can see her dominate, not in just defence, but also in attack.
She does a lot of work for the Vixens in attack, coming through court to reset the ball. The Vixens just keep their account ticking over.
Vixens by 3, Giants into attack. Just under 7 minutes to play in this last quarter. The Power 5 will kick in at the last 5-minute mark of this quarter and every quarter. Price. Sloppy pass out from Dwyer. Price picks it up. Looks like Price is really trying to slow this game down. Look how slow she is trying to retrieve that ball now.
Do you think that's a momentum thing? She's just wanting to try and reset the play. They were struggling to get it through. Maybe just take a couple of breaths, set something up.
Dwyer, Harton, she's got one arm fending off Mannix. Manages to pull that one in. Vixens, we know, want to play quick. They want to move the ball quickly. They want to get it down quickly. And I feel like Price is really trying to get in the way of that. As we take a look at the Giants shooting stats on screen, 88% Jo Harton, but 2 super shots to her name, which is very impressive.
And and much better shooting stats than last week. Last week they were about 71%, which at this level you don't expect to see the shooting percentages down like that. So this week definitely looking to right that, and you know, back up near the 90s would be where they would prefer, I'm sure.
Parmenter helps out in attack. Dwyer trying to look over the top. She finds Price. Back to Dwyer. There's not many options for them as Mannix has pulled for contact.
A little bit stagnant, aren't they? A lot of their players actually kind of play by finding a body and just holding and wanting that ball into that space. So we see very different down the attack end for the Vixens. The Vixens are all about hitting 100% pace and go, go, go. Whereas the Giants, a lot of the time, are trying to find that body and just play that little bit slower and a bit more composed.
You certainly keep an eye on that. You're about to hear the Power 5 siren go off. And Kira Austin will be very happy to take this shot. In the Suncorp super shot range.
Opens the account.
What a shot for her. And gets in there for a deflection. Kira Austin,
you can see their bench are on their feet.
She is dominating against her old club.
No surprises here. We see the Giants call a timeout to try and stem that flow.
Harton calling the HCF a tactical timeout. They'll want to have a lot of chat here around how they can slow down the Vixens. We're going to take a listen into their huddle.
Way to get it going, right? Your defence down here is good, all right? You're doing a good job of being, and you're building pressure, all right? You're doing a good job down here. Just make sure you stay close to every opportunity we get. We'll pull that ball in, all right? Every opportunity we bring in. Just try and make sure you look up one more step as they come down the court. He is so close. There's been a couple of times we've been so close to getting the ball, and we just need that one more step.
Yeah, all right. Looking for a hole. Let's pass on the best. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Very soft when you first come out there, all right? You need really strong movement in that circle. Don't be looking to just stand in there and turn and hope that something opens up for you. Really strong movement in there.
Here we go.
Demand the ball.
Bring it in. Let's be tougher to the ball and attack and defence. Show some composure here. We've got to step up now. Concentrate. The last 5 minutes. Here we go. Giants on 3! 1, 2, 3, check!
Julie Fitzgerald pleading with Sophie Dwyer. She's got to play a very attacking game. She's got to pounce on that ball. She's got to be aggressive.
Yeah, and she was also talking to our defenders about how close they are to getting some of these tips and intercepts. To April Branley, to Tilly McDonald. As we just see, they've got a little bit of a different setup here. They're playing a little bit of a box back there, 2-on-1 in the circle.
The Giants sitting out into space. Kumwenda for her Suncorp super shot. She doesn't get it. Branley with the rebound. As the Giants storm into attack. McDonald gets another go at it. Branley, Parmenter. They're trying to move the ball quickly. The Vixens are trying to push them up court and not allow them that space. But Price, she gets there. Finds Harton. We do have to remind our viewers that Giants had COVID. They've had 3 of their superstars out with COVID last week. It is going to be tough for them to play at this intensity for 4 quarters.
It definitely will be, and I think, you know, potentially having the timeouts, they may have discussed and using their timeouts really smart, you know, so that some of their players can actually catch their breath. We haven't seen the Vixens take a timeout yet, so maybe that's a part of their strategy, which would be incredibly smart.
As we just saw that Harvey Norman highlight, Hay hitting the deck. The court, the mop's out. Getting the sweat off there. We are seeing a lot of players on the ground. Just shows the desperation, how much they want that ball. First miss for Harton. Mannix. Eddie has to roll it underneath. have to try and get it through. Straight up the middle to Watson. The Vixens flying down court. Maloney to Kawenda. McDonald gets a hand in there to slow it down. Kira Austin. Watson, where's she going to go? She finds Kawenda.
Bit of hard work to get it there though, wasn't it? 2 or 3 options, but covered by the Giants' defence.
And just waiting to that extra, like right to the last 3rd second. Another body, Branley this time, flying down. Austin, what can she do with it? She nails it! Suncorp, super shot for Kira Austin. That is her 2nd one. Hey, Harton. Dwyer.
Sense the urgency of Jo Harton coming out of the circle, then you kind of feel like she's a little bit, okay, enough of this nonsense, I need to get my hands on the ball.
The Vixens won the 1st quarter by 1. They are now leading this 2nd quarter by 6. 7 goals all up.
See how they craft that ball into that 2-point range. The Giants last year leading at the 2-point shot. Dwyer! And that is exactly why, isn't it? Because they've got 2 shooters out there who can do it.
The Suncorp super shot is one of their favourite things to do. Watson puts it straight up Kawenda. She is able to pull it in. Just the confidence in that pass from Watson. Parmenter, always backing up in attack. They're trying to get it through.
And Kate Eddy gets her hands on that one. That was what I was saying before about the wing defence just floating back into that space that the shooter might. Ooh. So we see a hard hit between Austin and Price. But Austin gets up, she's okay. Jamie Lee is okay.
Watson, Kawenda, they're double playing, but it's a footwork call. Stepping call against Kawenda. Parmenter finds Hay. Back to Price on the top of the circle. Harton, she wants to have a go. Misses, but Weston pulls it in. The Vixens back into attack through Eddy. Just over 20 seconds to go in at this 2nd quarter. The teams will want to go into the halftime with the momentum. The Vixens through Maloney, finds Kawenda under the post, but it's a contact call.
8 seconds on the clock. Let's see if they can get it through. Oh!
Weston says, I'll stop this one. Harton! Oh. Whoa, that last 30 seconds had it all. That was a great 2nd half if you're a Melbourne Vixens player. The Giants just fading in that one. The Vixens leading by 6 goals. As we start to go down to Shani Norda, who has Jamie Lee Price.
Jamie Lee, we are down here half-time. Tough first half. What do you need to do?
Yeah, I think we just need to keep the possession of the ball, fake them out because they're really strong at the first ball contesting. So, yeah, I think we just need to be a bit more smarter, really.
Yeah, and you yourself had COVID last week. How are you feeling out there at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, the lungs are going and no better way to get back out on court on a really tough opponent. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds tough. You're doing well to be back out here, so good luck for the 2nd half.
Thanks, Sean.
Welcome back to this 2nd half here at Fox Netball. The Melbourne Vixens taking on Giants Netball. And if you see on your screen here, it's Heritage Round, and here is 2 former Melbourne Kestrels players, Leah Van Rensburg and Andrea Booth. And you might also see Andrea Booth running along the sideline because she's also an umpire in the Suncorp Super Netball. Former teammates of yours, Katie?
Great teammates of mine. I shared that shooting circle with Andrea Booth for quite a few years there. So great to see those guys here and cheering on their Melbourne Vixens.
The Vixens looking calm and composed. They are leading by 6 at the moment as the Giants get into their huddle. They've got a bit of catching up to do. What do the Giants need to do to get back in this game?
Well, I think just their, getting the ball to circle edge. I think the Vixens, centre pass defence, they're getting in behind their attackers and really kind of forcing them back up the court. So they're struggling to kind of find that circle edge, and that's the best place to feed the ball into their shooters. So I hope for them, they can kind of be finding that circle edge a little bit more clearly this quarter.
You can hear the crowd here at John Cain Arena. They are very excited to have netball back here in Melbourne. And we're very lucky to have the Giants coach, Julie Fitzgerald, joining us. Julie, how have you found this game so far?
Oh, look, it's a very, very intense match, and there's some high-quality netball there. I just think we've let ourselves down on a couple of occasions, and you can't do that against the Vixens.
And Julie, coming off obviously a really huge week for you guys, in all of your years of coaching, have you ever had to deal with something like last week?
Oh, look, I haven't, Bianca, and to be honest, 3 of them have only just come back into the fold, so we've got 3 games in 7 days, so I think it's all a bit hard at the moment, but I think it's the times, it's what we're living through at the moment.
And how great has it been to be able to see some of your young players get out there?
It's been great. They've worked really, really hard. They've been great with us, and it's good for them to have an opportunity.
And Julie, I just want to quickly talk to you about how are you going to manage this with obviously the players having COVID and coming back? That must be a real concern whether they can play out this game.
It is a real concern, and particularly when you look at the fact that we are coming into the double headers. But we can only see how they go. We've got people on the sideline ready if we see them tiring too much.
Thank you so much for your time, Julie. We really do appreciate it. All the best for the second half.
Thanks, Bea. Thanks, Caitlin.
The Vixens are underway. Kira Austin, ball in hand as Price storms through. She gets 2 hands on that one and pleads with the umpire. That was mine as Watson is out of play. Back to McDonald. Price gets forward, just gets over the hands of Eddie.
Mannix just pulled up for having her arms out.
Dwyer comfortably sinks that one. Here's our Harvey Norman replay. Look at Price, 2 hands on it, sends Watson flying into the circle.
Really great insight from Julie then, wasn't it? Obviously, coming back from COVID, you've got to, the well-being of the players is something that you've got to really look after in terms of a long season, and you don't want to be kind of running them, into the ground, I guess, in the next couple of rounds. We do have, 3 games in 7 days, so that's a real concern for the teams that will be affected by this.
We haven't even touched on that yet, the fact that there is Tuesday and Wednesday night games coming up in Suncorp Super Netball. Oh, as Kate Eddy just rips that one out of the air. And the reason for that, the season is a lot closer together because of the Commonwealth Games. So we've had to have some rounds midweek, which is not usual.
But what is usual in the last few years,
right.
though, Bea?
That's exactly right. As the Vixens lose possession, McDonald and Brownlee, the Giants defenders, they work hard in attack to find Hay. Straight down to Harton. Brownlee, she's pleading for the ball again as Harton keeps her hands on it. Mannix out of play. Dwyer doesn't want to take it. Parmenter gets her hand into it straight away.
Incredibly powerful athletes just going at it, aren't they?
Comes out of nowhere. Let's get across to the other side of the court. Shani Norda.
Oh, I just want to see this game clean up a little bit. Whilst I love a contest, there's just a bit too many penalties coming in. And once you're out of play, you're really not helping your team build that pressure. Some of them are really silly. And it's just all about that body control. And, we are at the start of the season and fitness is a factor in that. But it's about doing footwork, getting the clean feet, moving them around the body to keep yourself in play. And look, both teams are accountable for that at the moment. It's a great pass there. But, you need quick feet to get intercepts in between goals like that.
You're right. As the scoreline pretty much matches the penalties at the moment. The Vixens, they're up by 6. The Giants lead the penalties by 10. That's a sign of fatigue also, as Kumwenda tries to flick it to herself, but McDonald was in that front position. Isn't that a sign of fatigue when those penalties start to creep into the game?
Yeah, they get a little bit more, I guess, sloppy in terms of their decision-making, in terms of the position that they're in when the ball comes, so that there is actually a contest. So, yeah, I think Shani's right. As much as we love seeing it, I think they do need to clean it up a bit.
Price flicks it across to Hart. Hay and Dwyer. Just along that baseline, she loves that move. And the Vixens have called a HCF tactical timeout. Scores are even in this third quarter, but the Vixens leading by 6. We're going to get to listen into the Vixens huddle this time. Here's Simone McInnes.
Tighten it up on the front. Defensively, we need to tighten it up out the front a bit more, got into chase mode. And that's just not those cross-court, those floaty cross-courts. Keep being prepared to work the ball short and sharp, but still taking those drives through for depth. Yeah, this is it. Challenge one, remember, go for it, go hard.
Nothing was them forcing us to do anything wrong. It was just little errors.
I reckon. Yeah, and we've got the options. We're just probably not choosing the right one at the moment. So let's go back to doing that work rate. Drive again. And indeed, we're this close. Let's go. Vix on 3. 1, 2, 3, Vix!
Choosing the right options, what Kate Maloney was saying. Decision-making is a huge part of the game, especially at this elite level. The best players are often making the best decisions in those heated, pressured moments. Look at the Vixens, they're out there early. Maloney ready for the centre pass. They don't need their 90 seconds for that timeout. Maloney to get us underway. Here we go. Watson can't go forward, finds Austin up the middle.
And the Giants just doubling back on Kumwenda here. So a little bit of a change up in terms of their strategy. It's leaving Kira Austin without a player, so she's having to get more involved in bringing the ball down the court, just as that last play she was.
Shani Norder was listening into the Giants huddle. Shans, what was happening?
Well, they were quite happy. They were just wanting to contest were the words that came out of Joe Harton's mouth. And when they do get that turnover, they really want to penetrate fast and hard down the court, not too dissimilar to what the Vixens' game plan is. So for them, they were happy with how they're going, but they don't want to take their foot off the pedal.
Austin up against her old side. Finds Eddie on the transverse line. Oh, as Branley comes flying through the middle channel.
Exactly what she does best, that closing speed of Branley and the last couple of steps onto the ball.
If we take a look at the Nissan net points, the leaders out there at the moment, Kira Austin, she's stormed up to the top.
Yeah, having a really good game. She's got a lot of ball in hand. She's doing those feeds, obviously, but she's also been hitting the scoreboard.
Price. Through Dwyer. Dwyer looks over the top, can't find anyone. She finds Hay across the circle as Mannix gets the deflection, pulls it in, and adds another intercept to her name. Wasn't that the cross-court ball that Simone just didn't want to see?
She did, but it was actually smart to kind of swing that ball. The Giants were all defending across that one side of the court, so swinging it across, if it's low and hard and fast, it actually opens up the other side.
So again, it's about picking the right moment to do it.
Yeah, the decisions, exactly what the captain, Kate Maloney, said.
McDonald getting a hand in on that one, disrupting the easy play the Vixens had down court in attack. Vixens leading by 7. Just under 7.5 minutes to play in this third quarter. Harton doesn't want to take it, goes back out to Hay. Misses that one, uncharacteristically. As the Giants sit back in a zone, they're filling in this middle channel, but Vixen storms straight down. Bodies are clashing everywhere here. Brownlee and Price just sandwich Maloney. As we look at this Harvey Norman replay, all eyes for the ball as the bodies go flying. Kumwenda pulling in the ball.
Maloney just pointing at the ring.
Just shoot it.
You can shoot that one.
Austin, you heard her screaming in the background. She was free. Watson chasing down the ball, nearly wanted to join us in the commentary box here.
She has been doing a lot of work. She deserves a little rest.
I don't call this rest, Katie.
It's the brain power, not the physical power.
Yeah. Austin for a mid-range shot. She's really been impressive today.
She definitely has, and after a fairly quiet first couple of weeks, which is understandable given it was, a long comeback from an ACL injury. But the fact that the Vixens are adjusting to her, she's adjusting to that attack line as well. Those combinations, I think, are going to build. And we see the penalties there as well. Just the Giants kind of racking them up. We want to see that tidied up, like Shani mentioned earlier.
Weston with another cross quarter. Finds Watson as Parmenter bounces off Watson. Kumwenda, again, that lob over the top. Has just called time. You can see the players are getting a bit concerned. There is bodies on the court flying around, obviously contesting the ball, but it means there's also sweat on the court. So they've got to get that mopped up. No doubt after going down with an ACL injury, you're much more mindful about making sure the court surface is not going to be slippery. Dwyer, easy pass to Harton. That shooter-to-shooter pass. The Vixens defenders couldn't stop it. Shani Norder.
Ball is once at the human roadblock after that contest earlier. But I am actually really impressed with how Emily Mannix has brought herself into the game in this third quarter. I thought in the first half she just got caught. Just player focus, was watching the player, but she's really got a really nice balance now of knowing where Jo Harton is, but then reading that ball really well. So just keep an eye on her, because I think she might come through with a few more intercepts towards the second half of this quarter.
We do see Emily Mannix leading the penalty count, which is not where she wants to be, but that's probably all the pressure contesting she did in that first half. We'll see if she can come through with the ball in this second half. As Price goes flying down, waiting for the umpire call. But there isn't one. Harton. We're in the power five. Dwyer for her. Suncorp super shot. It's her third one of the game.
Has a second crack at it.
And she does not disappoint. This is why these two are 1 and 2 in the league for Suncorp super shots. They're confident, they want to take it there.
And with a lead like that, you never quite feel safe playing against a team like the Giants when the super shot is in play. A deficit can be eaten up very, very quickly. So Giants, let's see if they continue to keep working that ball into that super shot range.
Vixens by 6. The lead can change. Look, Harton doesn't even want to take it under the post. They want 2. Can they get 2? They find Dwyer. There she goes again. That super shot brought to you by Suncorp.
Well, that quick ball speed again from Kira Austin linking with Lizzie Watson out there.
When we talk about Suncorp super shots, for every successful Suncorp super shot today, the Suncorp will donate $100 to the Confident Girls Foundation to help the foundation continue their work on keeping girls in the game. They do this through a variety of programs, including the recently launched Community Response Grants, helping clubs, associations and its members impacted by the devastation of the floods in Queensland and New South Wales. So for more information, visit cgfraisley.com. As we get back to the action, less than 2.5 minutes to play in this third quarter. The Vixens lead by 4, could be 2. Harton misses, Weston pulls in the rebound.
Those rebounds are absolutely vital in this last 5. Not wanting to give the ball back and let them have another crack at those super shots.
Great defensive pressure from Maddie Hay. We know she's in wing attack, but she has grown up as a wing defence and only just moved to wing attack recently.
And hasn't she been dominating as a wing attack too?
She certainly has. Kumwenda, an easy one for her. The Vixens take their lead out to 5. Harton tries to get the momentum going. Double play with Hay. Another attempt for Harton. But Mannix this time is all over the rebound. Weston, great hands by Harton.
Working hard. Get that ball back.
Vixens trying to get something happening in attack. It feels very flat for them at the moment. It's hard for them to find somebody.
And that's due to the defensive pressure from the Giants. They've got some really great defensive structures happening. We've seen some positional switches at the back with Branley and McDonald. We've seen the 2 going back in on Kumwenda. As we see Lizzie just pop one over the top.
The Giants are really slowing down the Vixens' momentum now.
They have been, and Branley again, she's coming off and having a fly, having a crack, which doesn't necessarily give the turnover immediately, but it causes that doubt.
As we see a positional swap, McDonald went out to goal defence without actually putting the bib on, but that caused that turnover just to change it up and make the Vixens think differently. Contact on Kira Austin. Branley with possession. There's 15 seconds to play in this third quarter. Price, what can she do with it? She gives it straight to Kate Eddy. Vixens get another chance. Weston, 3 seconds. Kumwenda. Oh, she misses, and McDonald cleans up the scraps. That last minute had it all, Caitlin Thwaites. The Vixens are leading by 6. It's three-quarter time here at John Cain Arena.
If you want to sit down for 5 minutes, throw Amy out there for 5 minutes.
Do I look like tired or?
No, you just had a little time when your concentration's dropping.
I can come up if you want me to.
No, I don't want you to, but I want you to stay in the game, all right?
Three-quarter time here, and we heard just then Jamie Lee Price and Julie Fitzgerald talking about does she want her to come off. And Shani Norder, you're right down there in the Vixens huddle. What have you heard?
Yeah, so down here in the Vixens huddle, they just want them hiding hard for every ball. They talked about the penalties that they all need to come off the body. She especially talked about Kate Maloney and defending Jamie Lee Price, because Jamie Lee Price loves to use the body. So to come off and run that line of the ball to help her get those intercepts. But just consistency is key, really, and fighting out to the last minute of this last quarter.
Well, we cannot wait for this last quarter. The Giants, they're running out onto court. And the Vixens, they are raring to go. Jamie Lee Price asking if she should come off or not. They had quite an open and honest conversation with Julie Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and Jamie Lee just asking, well, do I look tired? And Julie Fitzgerald just saying, like, oh, well, actually, I think it might be your concentration's fading a little bit. So we might see a change in there. We might see the likes of an Amy Sliger enter the game, but we'll see how we go.
No changes on court so far as we start off this last quarter. Branley finds Hay easily. Price to Dwyer. Can they get it to Harton? They can. Back out to Price. Shuffling, jostling for position. Mannix on Harton. Good way for the Giants to start off this last quarter. As you see, their bench. Players that all got an opportunity last week. And we haven't seen them out there much yet. Vixens through Austin. Maloney at the top of the circle finds Kumwenda. Hay to Price, spins her around. Harton not so confident when she doesn't have to shoot a Suncorp super shot, but the Vixens get their hands in there. Weston finds Maloney on full stretch.
Going a long way back there to try and reset. Not a lot of options coming forward.
A sea of orange the Vixens are trying to get over. Austin up to Kumwenda. She stumbles backwards, but doesn't skip a beat. Weston to Watson. Over the top to Maloney. They swing it across and open up Kumwenda on the baseline.
I think Kumwenda's just saying, thank you for getting that rebound.
You see the smiles on their faces. The Vixens take their lead out to 8. Branley and Dwyer, they're squashed over one side of the court as Weston has her hands over everything. She might have fallen down in the background, but the Vixens are loving what they're doing out here in this last quarter.
She's having a great game, isn't she, Weston? Sitting on 80 missing net point.
Watch this replay. Smothers that ball from Hay. If we have a look at the missing net points and match leaders, it is all Vixens, Katie, in the top 5.
Maloney, Weston, Austin sitting there at third. And just having a look at the missing net points at three-quarter time there, the Vixens are almost double of what the Giants are, but the Giants are only just, like, they're still in the game. So to see the discrepancy, I guess, it tells you that the super shot is definitely in play, and the Giants are able to convert those, aren't they?
I'm not sure what's happening here, but April Branley is in stitches, having a bit of a laugh. Parmenter goes straight across to Branley. She has to get back into attack quickly. Hay and Parmenter having to play it back and forth between each other. Do they want it again? Wayward pass from Branley.
I was going to say, the Vixens just sitting off in terms of their defence there, which caused a little bit of, I guess, unsure through the Giants' attack. Ended up throwing one out the back.
If we look at the penalties.
Oh, and the games just there on screen. The Vixens, 18 games to the Giants, 5.
Which is exactly why they will be getting a lot of missing net points as a team, because the more positives, like the intercepts 9-2, the more points you are going to accumulate. Just under 11 minutes here to play. Lauren Moore has entered the game for the Giants. The former New South Wales Swift joined the Giants the start of this season. Missed the first game due to COVID. Was playing last week against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. And now here she is at goal defence to give April Branley a rest. Let's see what impact she can have. Eddie finds Austin. Straight away penalty against Moore. It's a 2-on-1 in the circle.
She's a great pickup for the Giants. She can play all 3 positions. At the Team Girls Cup, we saw her back in at keeper. She also plays in defence. Extremely versatile, which is super important when the team lists have only got 10 players, whereas internationally, of course, they've got the 12. The versatile players are huge additions to every team now with only 10. And Kira Austin, what a pickup she has been for the Melbourne Vixens in the off-season. Probably had a slower start as she was coming back from an ACL reconstruction last season. The first 2 games, it took her a while to get going, but now we're really seeing the impact she can have. She's disappointed she didn't get that one. If we have a look at Kira Austin's game, 57.5 missing net points, 17 from 20, 9 goal assists, 2 rebounds, 8 centre pass receives. Here we go again, the Vixens. Giants doing everything they can to try and get a turnover. Parmenta, hands over. Weston finds Kumwenda. There's no one in the circle for the Vixens. Watson. Let's go across the court to Shani Norder.
So we chatted about, it's not often that I'm quiet, but here I am being very quiet today, sorry. We chatted about the battle in the midcourt between Parmenta and Liz Watson, and you've got to say that the Vixens midcourt has probably got the better of the Giants today. We have a look at Watson, who's had 20 goal assists, 22 centre pass receives, 32 feeds. Look, it's just a phenomenal effort from her today on 51.5 missing net points. We look over to Amy Parmenta at wing defence, who's, you know, just had the 4 centre pass receives, 1 intercept, 2 deflections, which isn't bad, but it's more the amount of ball that Liz Watson has been able to have today and that impact. So the winner today would be Liz Watson, I would say.
Kira Austin trying to get her hands in there, trying to get another intercept to her name. The Giants, they're in attack. They're down by 12. With just under 7 minutes, just under 8 minutes to play in this final quarter, but we do know they love the Suncorp super shot. So come the last 5 minutes of this quarter, the Giants could do anything. For one, Harton, she fakes, she balks, she gets another shot. She makes this one count. Austin all on her own for the centre pass. Watson. What we've said earlier in the game, that second phase, and Watson was all on her own, deep, right on the edge of the circle. The Giants would want to be pushing her as high as they can, wouldn't they?
Well, I guess for me as a goal shooter, I loved it when my wing attack was so close to the circle. You knew that when they're attacking that circle, you kind of had that really good connection with your wing attack, and a lot of the time they're the ones that the feeds are coming through. So if you can try and separate, you know, your players and make sure that they're as far away as possible, then the passes are longer, and also gives the defenders a greater chance of getting in there for any tips.
It's been all Vixens so far in this final quarter. Already they lead this last by 7 goals. Amy Schleiger for the Giants has entered the game at centre. What can she do? As Austin storms through for the centre pass. Kumwenda out of the circle. Unknown territory for her. Austin straight across to Maloney. She wants it back.
Just a nice sweep across the circle there. And Maloney, a great drive and really great delivery across to her on circle edge.
And it's the confidence that Kira Austin's playing with that we haven't seen so far this season, but she's really come to play today.
I'm happy as her shooting coach, B.
Of course you are. As Dwyer sinks that one. We know Amy Schleiger had a fantastic game against the Thunderbirds last week. She top scored with the missing net points.
Oh, almost a short pass there, just a little fumble.
How hard is it, Katie, to break the momentum of the Vixens if you're the Giants midcourt right now?
Yeah, it definitely is really hard, especially, a little misunderstanding between Joe and Sliger there. When the ball's moving super quickly, we heard earlier one of the coaches mention about being in chase mode, and when the ball is flying down and moving that quickly, it's really hard for the defenders to be able to do anything.
Kumwenda will get another attempt. It's a contact call against Moore.
And we've just entered the Power 5 for this last quarter, so expect to see these Giants stand up.
The Vixens going through their back line in attack. As Moore get a hand to it, Parmenter dives on it, flips straight over Watson. The umpire says Watson had possession.
Unlucky from Parmenter. I thought she did well to get her hands on the ball. One of the rules is actually that you can't pass the ball if you are on the ground. So she tried to flick the ball back up in play.
We look at the Harvey Norman replay here as she goes across. I mean, you can't fault her effort for that ball. Austin. Moore went for the rebound, but Austin's going to get another go at it. What a performance from Kira Austin today. 19 from 20. She's shooting at 95%.
And don't forget, we've got Rani Samuson sitting on the bench there too. So, you know, in terms of her having that firepower as well.
Dwyer, a Suncorp super shot. We knew they were going to come. There's Rani Samuson. She's had quite a bit of court time the first 2 rounds for the Vixens. They haven't needed her today. Kumwenda and Austin have had it under control in their attack end. Giants back into attack. What can they do with it? Moore to Parmenter. The defenders got hold of it. They're helping out their attack end. Harton turns, she shoots, and she nails it. 3 Suncorp super shots for Jo Harton today, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more. Vixens lead by 16. Do not lead by 16. I'm looking at the total run score. They lead by 14. Harton, she's in her favourite spot. Can she do it again? Oh. Brilliant shot by Jo Harton.
Just reminding the Vixens that the game may not be completely over and out, over and done.
Under 2.5 minutes to play in this final quarter. Kumwenda fakes it one way, gets it back again. She's going to let Kira Austin take this.
The super shot accuracy there. You see the Giants sitting at above 60%. The Vixens just over 40%.
Sliger, Hay and Parmenter. All within such a small space, trying to get the ball down the court, trying to break this Vixens defensive pressure. Hay, off balance, Mannix gets a hand to it.
Just a little bit too loopy, that pass then, allowed Mannix the time to get, as
Harton joins in. A bit of defensive play as we watch this. Mannix just gets a hand to it, but it's off Dwyer. And the Vixens go out of court. The Giants back in.
It was a contact on Joe Weston there.
Sliger finds Harton, top of the circle. Oh, just rims out. Mannix gets the rebound and tries to ignite the attack of the Vixens. 13-goal lead to the Melbourne Vixens. 1 minute to play in this round 3 clash. The Vixens will go through undefeated after this game at the end of round 3. what a performance it has been, especially for this attack end, and led by Kira Austin today.
And Kate Maloney has just snuck under the radar of racking up those missing net points, sitting on 102 for the centre.
It's been a huge game for Maloney. She's had Price putting the pressure on all over her, making her work for every single ball.
Yeah, she's sitting on the 27 feeds, 15 goal assists. She's also got 2 deflections and 2 intercepts.
Another Suncorp super shot added to her name. That's her 5th for the game today. Here we go. We've got 5 seconds. Moore finds Harton in the exact same spot. She can't do it. Dwyer tries to get it in for 1. What a huge performance by the Melbourne Vixens. A 12-goal win against the Giants, and a solid performance for them over the 4 quarters.
Yeah, I think the Vixens will be much happier with that 4-quarter performance. But we've got to remember as well, the Giants just having 3 of their key players coming off COVID. So I think that sets up the second encounter. The next time they play each other, I think it will be one hell of a tussle. And hopefully we won't see any more COVID kind of ravage the teams.
As we can see, the Vixens won the first 2 quarters. It was even in the 3rd quarter, and then they won the 4th quarter by 6. Shani Norder is trying to get into the Vixens huddle. They're not letting her in. She's trying to grab someone who has had an exceptional game today. Shani Norder, who do you have with you?
I have player of the match, Joe Weston. Joe, congratulations. 3 intercepts, 3 deflections, but a lot of hard work that also isn't sad. What were you impressed with the most today in the game?
Oh, with my game?
Yeah, oh no, with your whole team's game, but also yours.
I just thought we really stuck to the game plan that we worked on from last week. You know, we really wanted to get those attacking structures right, and defensively really try and target what the Giants were trying to achieve, and I just think we really stuck to that and it came through in the end.
Congratulations. You're back, home crowd, massive, loud. How good is it playing here at John Cain Arena?
Oh, it's so good. It feels like it's been forever since we have been here, and I think it's nearly been over a year. So we're so lucky to have the most amazing netball fans here, and hopefully we can play a few more home games to a packed crowd for the rest of the season.
And you're 3-zip, you got a short turnaround, you got fever on Tuesday night. What do you need to do between now and then?
Probably recover, maybe a bit of sleep and a bit of water, given the amount of sweat I'm currently losing. But yeah, you know, the fever always going to be so challenging coming up against Janelle, and you know, their shooting circle with Sasha coming in is going to be really hard, and they've got one of the defensive diamonds combos in the other end, so it's going to be tough. So for us, it's just about, you know, trying to learn from that, but also move on as quickly as we can and just catch up on some sleep.
Yes, well, a huge game today. Congratulations to you and the team, and all the best for Tuesday.
Thanks, Shans.